Guys, I have the pressure of taking you through the lesson notes for the students. I have finished taking you through the lesson plan for the teachers. So I want to be fair not to have a video where students can watch it with, of course, a pen and paper. That's what I encourage the students. Remember, I've also mathematics videos. Have a pen and paper to note down what you think will not stick to your head. For those with the photographic memory, you are okay. You can just watch the video if you have photographic memory. But for most of us, and I know, you require a paper or a book, because I guarantee you, runners in this CBC or any other system, because biology is biology, whether you are doing it in CBC or whether you are doing it in KCSE, or whether you are doing it in Uganda, whether you are doing it in Tanzania, whether you are doing it in USA, whether you are doing it in Britain, whether you are doing it in Japan, whether you are doing it in Russia, biology is biology, all right? And it will never change. So have a pen and a book, because I'm going to take you through polished and very clear notes about the cell. And you will never be challenged by any examination, guys. So welcome, guys, to the video as we go over the cell. Ages between 11 and 14. There, guys, we go. Be attentive. Attention, class. The class can be one student or many students, or a classroom, or you are at home. Anywhere you are watching this video, attention. So there, we have the junior secondary students, ages 11 to 14. Between that age, 11 to 14, biology lesson notes, the cell. Biology lesson notes, the cell. So, junior secondary students, ages 11 to 14, biology lesson notes, the cell. Reference books, Kenyan. We have secondary biology form 1 by KLB, chapter 2, the cell, where you have the structure and function of the cell and cell organelles, and then you have the difference between plant and animal cells. The international reference book for students who have agriculture, if you go to the Kenyan Library Services, you have Campbell, Concept and Connections by Jean B. Leche, Mother R. Taylor, Eric J. Simon, and Jean L. Dickey. And the chapter is 4, where you have a tour of the cell. microscope and the cell, structure and function of the cell organelles, cell membrane structure and function as the last section there. So the lesson notes, the cell, introduction to cells, definition. A cell is the basic unit of life. All living organisms are made up of cells which perform essential functions to sustain life. So the definition is simply a cell is the basic unit of life. So the other ones there are emphasizing. So you don't need to memorize everything there. If you ask what is a cell is the basic unit of life. Types of cells. We have two types of cells, and the first one is known as prokaryotic cells. These are simple cells without a nucleus, e.g. bacteria cells. Remember, bacteria is a cell by itself, although it is a living organism. And you know the economic importance of bacteria is to bring us diseases, and so on. Eukaryotic cells. These are complex cells with a nucleus, e.g. plant and animal cells. The next one is structure and function of the cell. We have the cell membrane, and you are told that the cell membrane is a semi-permeable membrane that controls the movement of substances in and out of the cell. It protects the cell and provides stability. Cytoplasm is the next. This is a gel-like substance where most of the cellular activities occur. It contains the cell organelles and is the site for biochemical processes. The nucleus. This is the control center of the cell containing DNA. It regulates activities such as growth, metabolism, and reproduction. Mitochondria, known as the powerhouse of the cell, it produces energy through cellular respiration. Ribosome, small structures involved in protein synthesis. They can be found floating within the cytoplasm or attached to the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum, two of them. We have the rough endoplasmic reticulum, which is rough ER. ER is short for endoplasmic reticulum. These are stranded with ribosomes. It assists in the synthesis and transport of proteins. Because we have seen that proteins synthesize proteins. So these ones assist to synthesize and transport. Then we have the smooth ER, or smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which lacks ribosomes. That's why it is called smooth. It is involved in rapid synthesis and detoxification processes. Golgi apparatus. This modifies, sorts, and packages proteins and lipids for storage or transport out of the cell. Lysosomes contain digestive enzymes to break down waste materials and cellular debris. Chloroplasts For plant cells only, these are the sites of photosynthesis, where light energy is converted into chemical energy. They contain chlorophyll, which gives plants their green color. Vacuous. Storage sacs within the cell. Plant cells have a large central vacuum and maintains total pressure, while animal cells have small vacuums. Cell wall, found in plant cells only. And this one is a rigid layer outside the cell membrane that provides structural support and protection. So we come now to the differences between plant and animal cells. Notice in our discussion there with the organelles, we were mentioning some organelles which occur in plant cells only. They are not found in animal cells. So, plant cells, you can see side-by-side comparison. They have a cell wall made up of cellulose, while the animal cells lack a cell wall, and they only have a cell membrane. So for students, this is the way you give the difference. You have to make a table with the two columns. And when you say plant cells have a cell wall made up of cellulose, you don't go now to the animal cells and say animal cells don't have. No, you have to explain. You see how I've explained? I've just said plant cells have a cell wall made up of cellulose. And then when I went to the animal cells, I said they lack a cell wall and only have a cell membrane. So I don't say animal cells don't have. That is not a comparison. All right? Comparison number 2 is that plant cells contain chloroplast for photosynthesis, while animal cells do not contain chloroplast because they don't do photosynthesis. All right? Photosynthesis does not take place in animals. You have never seen an animal with green coloring matter or leaves. Number 3, the plant cells have a large central vacuum that stores nutrients and maintains total pressure, while, on the other hand, animal cells have smaller but many vacuums, multiple vacuums inside the cell. And finally, plant cells are generally rectangular in shape, while animal cells are typically round or irregular in shape. In summary, the key points which you should bear in your mind is this: that cells are the fundamental units of life. Number 2, eukaryotic cells, because we have the prokaryotic cells, eukaryotic cells have undefined nucleus and various specialized organelles that perform specific functions. And number 3, plant and animal cells have similarities but also distinct differences in structure and function. In this runners, of course, you need diagrams. You need diagrams, for example, of the organelles, So because I've given you the reference books, you just go to the reference books and use diagrams to illustrate the structure of the plant and animal cells, labeling key organelles. Try to draw yourself, all right? And you can see what I've come up with: the structure of plant and animal cells. The plant cell, you can see it's regular in shape. And you can see cellulose cell or maintain shape of the cell, nucleus, vacuole contains water sap, and then we have chloroplast, site of photosynthesis, and you have cytoplasm. All right. Then you have the cell membrane or cell surface membrane. For the animal cell, you have the cell surface there, membrane, which controls contents of cell, nucleus controls cell's activities, and the cytoplasm, which is semi-fluid. So I've also decided to show you each cell in a slide. So that's the plant cell. It's the same, but I've tried to magnify it so that you can learn the parts there. Cellulose cell wall, vacuole, nucleus, chloroplast, cell surface membrane. That one is the animal cell. Cell surface membrane controls contents and so on. Nucleus controls cell activity, cytoplasm, and fluid. So I'm just trying to magnify the old diagram. But the first diagram, let me take you there. I try to put them side by side so that you can see the differences. All right? That's why I added that diagram. But the others now show you the details because they might not be visible on the other diagram there. So I bring these ones. So for students, your activities will be, there will be group activity. So you students will work in groups to draw and label either a plant or animal cell, including all the major organelles, guided by your teacher. Then your teacher will give you a worksheet with the diagrams of plant and animal cells for you to label and answer questions about the functions of the different organelles. Conclusion by the teacher, of course, or you as a student, when you are looking at this video, go to the reference books, review the key points about cell structure organelles and the differences between plant and animal cells. Encourage students to ask any questions they have about the cell. Assign a short paragraph on comparing the functions of two organelles of their choice. So you pick two organelles, then you compare the two. Like you can take the nucleus and maybe the rhizosome, you compare. You can take Golgi apparatus and the chloroplast, you compare, and so on. No. Yeah, you can compare. There is no problem. So, I just have a comment here to advise the students that these lesson notes provide a comprehensive overview of cell structure and function tailored to junior secondary students. But even the students in the other higher classes, when they are doing their revision, please welcome to this video because it summarizes everything. The content is designed to be engaging and informative with a mix of direct instruction, visual aids, and interactive activities. So, my dear students, that comes to the end of the topic, the cell. We have given you the notes in detail and summarized. Your work will just be to go to the reference books. Please make sure that you practice drawing the organelles you can be able to draw, all right? The ones you cannot be able to draw, just leave them, because even the examination might not tell you to draw them. They might bring it, but please make sure that you can be able to draw a few organelles. Know how to label, like the chloroplasts and the mitochondria. Very common in examinations. The mitochondria is the powerhouse for respiration. That's where respiration takes place. While the chloroplast is the site where photosynthesis takes place. And guys, you know that without photosynthesis, then we cannot live, because we cannot make food. Food is just made by plants. So run in detail, but draw chloroplast, look at the structure of the chloroplast. Okay, mitochondria again now is a very important organelle, because it is the one which will break down the food we eat into the useful substances in our body. This is the site of respiration. So all these details now, these functions we have put here, will be mentioned as we continue with biology in the other levels. Remember, this one is the opening. This is the first step in biology, so that now, after you get the good foundation of what you are going to do in biology, the other levels now will be very easy, because now you know an overview. Like the cell is the basic unit of life. Introduction to biology, we gave you why it is important. All right? So as we study the subject in detail, you'll be able now to have a good foundation if you are going to seriously watch these videos with a pen and paper, jot down, practice drawing. If you can afford, go and use the microscope to see the cells, right? If you can afford. In any case, you don't need to be in school. You can visit maybe a hospital around your place, the laboratory section. There they can explain to you about the microorganisms, okay, the cell, like the bacteria, which we have said it is prokaryotic, all right? And it lacks a defined nucleus, all right? And then you have the eukaryotic cells, all right? You can now, out there are so many things you can use to perfect whatever we are going to see in this video. And so, without much ado, guys, that comes to the end of the lesson. And please subscribe to this channel, Smart_Travelers Memoirs, and support me and even play hand that we come up with better videos in. I'm not saying this is not better, but I'm saying so that we come with even more clearer videos when I enter now biology proper, because we are coming to the next topic very soon. Bye-bye, and see you in the coming videos.